Good morning everybody. There's a lot of weird abilities and mechanics in Dota, and I thought it would be fun to dedicate a video to those. But I want to preface this by saying that by no means is this all going to be useful information. In fact, a decent portion of this video is never going to come in handy. I just personally found it to be really interesting. So I hope you guys find it interesting too, and let's just get right into it. This one is actually gonna be useful if you like playing Bounty Hunter. Shadow Walk gives you bonus damage if you come out of it with an attack, but it's not actually how it works. It actually gives you bonus damage while Shadow Walked, which includes the fade time. So if I attack somebody during the fade time, I will also get the 30 bonus damage, and at level 1, the fade time is 1 second, which is pretty lengthy. To kind of show this off, I'm just gonna attack this Abaddon twice. As you can see, this is how much damage it dealt. Now if I attack this guy and then do one more with the Shadow Walk, you can see, oh, okay, it took a little bit more damage, but that's not actually maximizing it. Maximizing it is you activate the Shadow Walk, attack during the fade time, and then attack again after the fade time is over, and boom! There you go! You dealt a lot more damage. So I'm sure all of you know this, but if Abaddon is at 400 or less HP and he takes damage, his ultimate is going to trigger automatically. Right? We are all on the same page there. Now what's interesting about this is this automatic trigger is actually considered a passive effect and can be cancelled or prevented by break. Let me just show you. So this is our Abaddon here. We're gonna throw a bunch of shurikens at him. And boom, there we go, we triggered the ultimate, right? Now we're gonna do a similar thing with this Abaddon. However, before we get to the actual finish, we're gonna go ahead and activate the Silver Edge, hit him, and he's dead! Now, the thing about this though is that while the break does disable the ultimate from automatically triggering, it does not disable the ultimate entirely. So if I attack him with the Silver Edge, I attack him again, it doesn't trigger, but he can just cast it himself. Another way around that would be silence. So if you break an Abaddon and you silence him, and the Abaddon doesn't have BKB or Yules or something to get out of it, he's actually just dead. You cannot use the ultimate out of silence, and the break makes it so his ultimate doesn't trigger passively, and then you can't just take him down. The question keeps coming up, so I just really quickly want to talk about it. But Tangos actually have weird properties, as in usually they last 16 seconds, right? But if you use a Tango to eat a tree that was summoned by an iron branch or a void, they will last twice as long. Just to kind of show this off, if I eat this, you can see 16 seconds there, but if I use this, it lasts much longer. And if I plant a tree and then I have this one eat that, yet again it lasts much longer. You can see the timer there moves much slower than the timer on this guy. This one is almost done. On these two, they're still going for quite a while. And you can use these to, by the way, eat all kinds of voids, instantly kills them. Really useful. I'm sure you've noticed that in pro games, sometimes pro players just do this move, where they plant a tree and immediately eat it. This is why, because it gives you additional regeneration. Juggernaut spin really deserves its own video, so I got one! Link on the screen right now. But what I actually want to talk about is Juggernaut's ultimate in combination with Linken's. So usually if you cast a single target ability on somebody with Linken's, you expect this. Boof, it just gets absorbed in its entirety, right? Now, Omni Slash actually works a little bit differently though, because if I cast Omni Slash on somebody with a Linken's, what happens is only the very first slash gets absorbed. All of the other ones still come out. So instead of having 9 slashes, I now only got 8, but the ultimate still comes through. This also doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you need to block all of the Omni slashes or something like that. No, both of these got what the fuck mode enabled, and they both got a Linken's, and it still doesn't matter. There's just not really anything you can do to prevent Omni slash. Okay, so this is where we're getting to the less practical part of the video, but if you're playing Lone Druid and your bear dies, then you take 10% of your maximum HP in pure damage, right? It's right on there, backlash, pure damage, 10%. Now, interestingly enough, that damage is actually credited to the person that killed the bear. It's not damage that Lone Druid deals to himself, it's damage that the person that killed the bear deals to the Lone Druid. Which means we can blade mail return it. So let me just go ahead and show this off. So we just kill this bear really quick, and you can see our Lone Druid takes like 800 damage because he has an excessive amount of HP to kind of prove the point. Now what we're going to do this time is we're going to kill the bear yet again, but before we actually kill him, we activate the blade mail here, blow him up, and oh, that one hurt. Weaver's Bugs and Gyrocopter's Missile are some of the more annoying abilities in the game. They usually arrive at bad times and can be pretty tricky to get rid of, but Faceless Void can actually just cheat, as in, if you activate a Chronosphere, both of them will just instantly disappear, which is a little bit odd. Now the missile will disappear no matter in what position of the charging it is, and actually the bugs are even weirder, as in they will constantly reappear until the entire swarm has disappeared and they will all just instantly die. If you like playing Pudge, this one is gonna come in handy, so you can use somebody and then instantly hook them out of the use. The hook doesn't deal any damage, but you still get them close enough to do your other stuff. They still also take the Yule's damage at the end, so they can't blink out. It can definitely be handy. Another interesting thing about Pudge is that Rot doesn't actually disable healing potions, clarities or bottles until it's level 4. So as you can see, I'm rotting, I'm dealing damage to myself. I can still activate a healing potion and I'm gonna heal up. This is unusual because usually damage disables healing potions, as you can see right there. Activate that and it's immediately disabled. Now, this also works for enemies, so my Nyx Assassin right here is going to activate a Clarity. We're going to activate a Clarity on the Pudge. Damage would usually disable this, but Rot doesn't. Neither does level 2, neither does level 3. Level 4, however, does. Usually, if you're playing Bristleback, you want to turn your back towards your opponent to reduce damage, right? Now, this doesn't actually work against towers. Towers completely ignore Bristleback. They just deal the same amount of damage no matter which way you're facing. So to demonstrate this, you can see we're taking about 80-70 damage each shot. Turning around should reduce it, but it doesn't. We still take about 80 to 70 damage each shot. Bloodseeker's ultimate deals damage based on how far you travel while affected by it. So usually, if Rapture is applied to yourself, you do not want to blink. That is one of the worst things you can do, because if you do blink, you take a lot of damage, and you take it instantly. Now, however, there's a limit on Rapture. If you move more than 1300 units in 0.25 seconds, you will not actually take damage for that. Queen of Pain's blink, luckily enough, has a range of 1300. So if we blink the full range and then move just 1 unit forward, we will not take damage for that. To demonstrate that, we have our Queen of Pain here. I'm gonna blink over here and you can see we still take damage. Now, the maximum range, however, is, around here, so we go a little bit further than that and then we move. And oh, we didn't take damage for that blink. That's because we shift queued movement right after the blink and we're fine. Now, we of course take a little bit of damage for the few steps we take, but at least we managed to blink without dying instantly. The Undying dream is you run into a team fight, there's 5 heroes, you get a bunch of DKs on them, and all of a sudden you have turned into the God of Strength. Especially if there are 5 Meepos, then of course you would get 5 DK stacks, 1 from each Meepo, but that's not actually how it works. In reality, if you cast DK on a bunch of Meepos, you only get 1 stack, and only 1 of them actually loses strength, the other 3 don't. Also, that one is determined at random. As you can see, now this one was. Now we do it again. Now it's this one. Now we do it again. And this one has 2 now. We do it again. And this one has 3 now. Well, that Meepo really isn't very lucky now, is he? No, this one still doesn't have any. But this one got 2 now. There are some mechanics in Dota that I personally am not very fond of, and these are 2 of them, actually the 2 main ones. So Blink Dagger is a little bit weird. Usually if you blink with an ability, like let's say Queen of Pain's blink, and you click out of range, so you can see over there, that's how far we can go, and I click somewhere over there, it's just going to blink you the maximum range. Blink Dagger doesn't actually work like that. If with Blink Dagger you click outside of the maximum range, it's going to blink you shorter. It's actually gonna take 1/5 of the maximum range away and make you blink that, which is really weird. If you want to have the maximum Blink Dagger range, you want to click Well, actually got it over here so we can like... So the Queen of Pain is our point from which we blink from, right? But if I blink all the way over here, you can see it doesn't actually work, but I can blink further by clicking here, which now got me further because I clicked inside of the 1200 range. This is one of those things that is definitely a skill thing, right? It's a skill factor in the game. However, it's a little convoluted and it doesn't really, you know, make sense with all of the other blink abilities in the game that don't work like that, but oh well. The other thing is this. So let me go ahead and just drop down my bottle over here. Go back to the base. Usually you would fill up your bottle at the base, of course, because that's where you can do such a thing. However, what you actually need to fill up a bottle is the fountain rejuvenation buff. So if I TP into a tower like this, and then pick up the bottle, and then push E, all of a sudden I have a full bottle again. There are some invisibilities in the game that can be used while channeling, most notably TPs, of course. Those are Nyx Assassins, as you can see right here. You can just channel through Invokers. We've got Bounty Hunter. We've got Clinks, and we've got Beaver. Not only that, but there's also our fancy little Shadow Amulet, Shadow Blade, and Silver Edge, of course. So we can use Shadow Amulet while channeling. As you can see, our Enigma is invisible. We can use Shadow Blade, and we can use Silver Edge. If you're paying attention to the buffs, I'm gonna spamming them. But yeah. So go invisible while TPing. It's actually super fucking legit, by the way. Because if you arrive invisible, most people will just think you cancelled the TP. And as a result, they will play as if nobody ever TP'd there. And then you can just kill them for free. So, yay, party hard. So out of all the splash abilities in the game, Shadow Shaman's is actually quite unique. Now, if I'm talking about Shadow Shaman Splash, I of course mean the splash from the mass Serpent Wards. So if I go ahead and summon the Serpent Wards, you can see they're attacking our Enigma. If my Invoker gets too close, then he will also take damage. Interestingly enough, this splash is actually magic. If I activate a BKB, my Invoker doesn't take damage anymore. Now, this is weird because usually splash is pure. Just this one isn't, for some reason. Right, so I can have my Invoker be attacked regularly, and if I then activate my BKB, I still take damage. The splash effect, however, is blockable by BKB. For some reason. This one is actually one that really trips me out. This is just odd. But yeah, no, you can see Invoker takes damage right if I activate my BKB, and no, he doesn't. So let's go ahead and finish this with another weird one. TA's Refraction works in such a way that every single time you take damage, you lose a refraction charge and you prevent the damage. Now usually if you're playing TA, going up against Darkseer is actually pretty miserable because you just lose all of your refraction instantly and it's just no fun. However, refraction only triggers if you take 5 or more damage. Now look at this. This is level 1 Iron Shell. Refraction isn't triggering, and we're just straight up taking the damage. This, right here, is level 2 Iron Shell. Yet again, Refraction is not triggering, and our poor TA is just stuck tanking it herself. That's because Refraction, again, it only triggers if you take 5 or more damage. But Darkseer actually deals less than that damage with the Iron Shell this early on, because he deals so many instances of damage, right? Now if we go to level 3, activate this, activate our level 3 Iron Shell, then it just burns through the refraction as you would expect. However, I found this to be kind of interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating on the video, would definitely appreciate that. And feel free to subscribe. I hope to see you guys tomorrow, and goodbye.